So JimmyFvdes in the building. JimmyFvdes with a V.
One and only.
Always got to make that clear.
Yep.
You already made your debut on my YouTube channel, man. So I figured let's get you in for a video.
You did have me a lot in that video too.
What can I say? You were shining. You were shining like a star, man. So it's only right that you're here for the first interview, bro. So so what's your barber story, bro? Where would you say your barber journey began?
Man, I got to say probably in 11th grade. I started shaping up my eyebrows because they're like bushy and caterpillar when they're growing out. So I started trimming those with just regular razors, and then I slowly started doing my mustache and my chin strap, and sideburns and everything. And then I started getting better at it. Then I graduated to a straight blade, and I just started practicing on myself. And I'm already artistic in that kind of way, and I'm very OCD when it comes to shapes and angles and stuff like that. So it was really natural to me to pick it up, and I just started doing it, man. I picked it up and I started doing it on my boys and the neighborhood. And I never really wanted to actually be a barber. Mm-hmm. I just kind of fell into it. And then the more I started doing it, the more I started to get better. And then it really took off once when I was in the Marines, because we needed haircuts every week. So people know I cut hair, and that's how I got a lot of my practice.
They weren't giving good cuts at the post.
Nah, and I was only charging $5 too, Barry's cuts, but my haircuts were better than the PX cuts. So that's where I got a lot of my practice, man. And when I was on deployment, and they had like a barbershop on the ship, and I would just be there and all day.
You were cutting in the barbershop on there?
On ship, yeah. On my first deployment, we was on a mule.
Was that like your off-duty? And was it like an off-duty assignment, or was it voluntary?
No, it was because we needed haircuts, and they knew that I cut hair, so I was already all right. Well,
so instead of doing your job, you were cutting hair.
I got away with a lot of things. I just wake up, go eat chow in the morning, and
be cutting
and go.
Dang, I never.
And then whenever like the platoon would be doing something, I'd sneak out. Well, I gotta go to the shop. And I would get out of training and everything.
That was only on the ship, though.
Yeah, only on ship.
Dang, that worked out though. Cause how long at a time were you on the ship?
We weren't. It was a couple days, probably. I think the longest we was on ship was probably like maybe 10 days, because we were at a different.
Oh,
port.
okay, that wasn't too bad. Yeah. Hey, but I guess for being on a ship in the Marines, that's a pretty good situation. I didn't know that, man.
And I didn't need money because I was getting paid, so they would pay me in like Monsters, and back in the day I would, smoke Newports or whatever. So they would just pay me with that.
You nasty.
They would pay me with all that stuff. So I was like, all right, well,
I'll take it. So how long you been in the game professionally now?
This October, 2 years.
Ooh, that's crazy. How does that feel? I just hit my year. So how does it feel for you?
I feel like I'm behind the curve because I've been cutting for 14 years. So I've been cutting since 2017. Obviously not professionally, but just practicing throughout the years. And then I see all these guys on social media, man. I just feel like I'm behind the curve, but I'm slowly starting to learn like it's not about talent. It's about your work ethic. You know what I mean? You got these guys that just been in the game 2 years, 4 years, like Vic Blends, man. He's only been in like around 4 years. Yeah. And he's one of the best ones. Not because he can cut really well, but because he's out there. He's putting in.
The marketing is a big one too.
He's a constant. So that's what I need to learn. So.
But I think it also depends on what type of barbering you want to be in the industry, because there's so many different levels on the spectrum.
There is.
So for you, where would you say you fall on that for your goals? Like, where do you want to be? Like, do you have an end goal? And if so, what's that end goal for you?
What's my end goal?
Or maybe not end goal, but what would you consider the climax or the pinnacle of what you want your barber career to be? Like, where do you want to be professionally? What type of barber on that spectrum that we're referring to do you want to be?
I want to be that barber that doesn't have to come into the shop. I want to be that
guy.
Well, not ever, but I want to own a shop. Maybe 2, 3, depending. But I just want to be able to come in, make sure everything is the way it is supposed to be. Maybe come in, but it would be like a special occasion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man, Jimmy's in the, oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
something's going on. You know what I mean? I want to be called upon because I want to be wanted. You know what I mean? Not like how we are right now. Like, hey, Jimmy, man, I need a cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's this right now is like lower level. I'm talking about like, hey, Jimmy, we need you on set kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna fly you all the way to New York or something like that.
that
That's
would be
where I
dope.
want to be. And then also teaching, because there's a lot of barbers out there that can pass the test, but don't know how to cut hair.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
I would say most barbers.
Yeah. So, and that is one of the reasons why I actually started teaching, because I wanted to show the younger guys coming in how to do it correctly. You know what I mean? And even while I was teaching, they were like, man, I want to be just like you. But I'm over here being like, I want to be like these guys. So by them saying that to me, kind of made me feel good. But that is ultimately what I want, is to be able to serve people and to teach the correct way, because there's too many people in the world, you know what I'm saying, to cut, you know, and we all got to eat, and we all can eat. So the selfish part isn't even in the spectrum. It's being able to teach and to show the right way how to do things.
Do you feel like you would like to be like, I know we already talked about you flying out and being desired at a certain professional level, but do you want to be a celebrity barber per se? Let's say like a Vic Blends, or like Chris Bassio's level now where he's getting to, or Frank the Barber, Patty Cuts, the guys that we have, you know, getting their own clippers and being on stage at events, that kind of thing.
So with me, of course, I would want to cut celebrities.
That would just be cool. I feel you.
That would be cool because you get to travel.
Exposure.
Obviously, you're gonna get paid more, but I don't look at celebrities like athletes or musicians any less or any more than the people that come in the shop.
For sure.
Because they're just regular people. The only difference is that they make millions and they're out there in the world. So when it comes to celebrity status, yes, I would love to have my own clipper one day.
Like for yourself, like your own, like celebrity barber level, you know what I mean?
That in itself, but I don't really want to be a celebrity barber, because I put everybody on the same level as far as, because I'm going to treat a celebrity the same way I treat a regular customer in the shop. You know what I mean? There's no special treatment.
It's funny you say that, because I feel the same way, and I wonder, you know, what that let's say, you know, the day comes that we are both called upon by a celebrity of any sort, because the day is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when, right?
Yeah.
So when the day happens, how it's going to feel slightly surreal, but also so normal, because we are going to treat them that way, and we are viewing it as our client as opposed to like this star calling us, right? Because once you get in the chair, at least this is how I view it, you know, regardless of who it is, once you have them in the chair, they're just another client, you know, and you're in your zone. It's like I would imagine like a basketball player, you have all this hype, all this everything, but once they get on the court, they're just playing ball. You know what I mean? The rest of it doesn't really matter. Right. So I imagine it feeling like that, and just going to town, but then also having that little voice in the back of your head, like, you definitely can't mess this up.
Don't mess up. And you'll take longer. Like, you ever heard of JC the Barber?
No.
Well, I heard his story, and the first time he cut French Montana, it was just a shape up. You know what I mean? And
he was testing him out.
He said that was, because that's what he got.
Oh,
he
had
dark hair like this. And he said that was the longest shape up of his life. And because of what you're saying, you know, he was just starting out, and he didn't want to mess up. So he said that was the longest shit. But once he started building a relationship with him, it was
a regular cut.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to break the ice. But that's funny that you say that, because it's true. If you could
pick anybody to be called upon for their first celebrity cut, who do you think you want it to be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Man, it would probably have to be somebody with a beard, you know, because they got no beard, it's just no fun.
I feel you on that. I feel like it's a kid's cut if they if they ain't got a beard?
Man, that's a good question. I wasn't ready for that one. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe like a. Ooh, man, that's a good one. You're gonna have to cut this one. I was thinking Will Smith, but he doesn't really have a beard. Trying to think of a. I wanted to cut LaMelo's hair.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't really have a beard.
Yeah, but I can see
I like his style of hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has that burst fade and it kind of goes down. I like that. Or like Carmelo Anthony. You know what I mean?
Not LeBron.
I really don't like his beard.
Would you say he's your basketball idol?
My basketball idol?
Am I mistaken in that?
No, he's my favorite player, but I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he did look good with the fade though.
LeBron?
When he first came back to Cleveland, he had a fade, and I felt like that was the best haircut that looked good. But I never liked his beard because it was like a normal beard, but it doesn't connect right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. It's like a thick chin strap.
You're gonna hurt some of my clients saying that, man.
That's fine.
So you now that you say that, are you kind of like, I imagine a lot of barbers are, especially who really care about the craft, but when you're watching games or shows or movies and you're looking at these haircuts that, you know, these people got mad money and they just got trash fades or trash haircuts, that pains me inside. You feel like that too?
All of the time. And even, there's even big names in the industry now that cut their hair like for the shows. And
that cut their hair, like get
that
their
cut
haircut?
that cut the actors.
Oh, right,
They cut the actors and it's still, it's
sloppy.
It's not sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I don't know how they get away with that.
But maybe that's how it's supposed to be. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Like how my haircuts are, your haircuts, how they're sharp, and the fade is blunt, it's blurry. A lot of them aren't. You know what I mean? It's just like, why does the haircut look like that? But maybe
I know some people aren't into it, but I think those people don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like they don't realize what they're missing, or they've never had it. But I'm glad that our type of haircuts are becoming more mainstream. Like, you know, like I hate to say it, but growing up, you wouldn't really see that many white people with the type of haircuts that we do, and now they're all over the place.
Right.
So like that's a good thing. It's becoming more of a corporate look, I would say, or, you know, if you wanted to classify it as that, or more mainstream in that sense. I
like some of them are really messed up, but then some of them are like Jalen Rose's hair. You ever seen his hair?
I want to say yeah, but
he's
I can't think
the
of
NBA
it.
analyst.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
See, he gets cut by Andy Authentic. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
I think he's with Andis.
He got to be getting enhanced.
And yeah, but I just feel like it's way too much. I don't like doing sharp
fake.
haircuts where it looks too fake.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I like it to look pretty natural, even if that means like I'm using enhancements, but I go light on it.
Right.
So it looks
make it look natural,
Yeah.
sharp but natural. His is just like, man.
Yeah, like it looks like Steve Harvey lineup level, but
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they like that, I guess that's what they like. But
Oh
I
yeah,
just
you
feel like
give
it's
the
too
people
much.
what they want. At least that's how I feel.
It's
So
too-
you mentioned, you mentioned two things that I want to touch on. One is opening your own shop and everything. For one, on that level, do you plan on that being, because you're cutting in Belleview now, Bellevue, Florida. That's where we are, right across the street from us here in City Clippers. I know we're here now because I just shaped you up, you know, gave you the lineup of your life.
sir.
But you work right across the street. So do you feel like you're going to be in Bellevue or Ocala, for that matter, for a long time?
I don't want to be in Ocala.
You don't want to. Well, when you say that, are you including Bellevue in that statement, or are you just saying Ocala? Because for me, when I say Ocala, I mean like all of Marion County, basically.
I don't mind being in Ocala, but right now I can't see myself wanting to be in Ocala unless it's in a different area where there isn't a bunch of barbershops. You know what I'm saying? I like being over here because it's in between Ocala and like Leesburg and Summerfield and all that. So we get all that traffic before they get to over there. We stop them and we get all them.
Halt.
Yeah. So
no, that's true though. I do, and it's funny to me though when we get people from like Summerfield who come in and like, damn, I'm glad I found y'all because I didn't want to have to make the hike into town. And I'm like, well, like 15 minutes out. Like I guess that's a 15-minute trip, but for me that's nothing.
Some people trip, man. There was one of my clients, he was tripping about me being 20 minutes away.
From his house?
From his house, yeah. He's like,
Oh yeah. But I mean, for this kind of cut that you can't get anywhere within 20 minutes,
Right.
it's like, why does it seem like...
And he realizes that now, and that's why he comes to me.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
at
mean?
the time he wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Do you think he was getting trash cuts before?
Here's the thing with that. He said his fades were good, but he has straight textured hair.
So they probably weren't.
They weren't good with the shears. So, and that's a lot of barbers nowadays, and that's what I was trying to implement in the schools, because they were just really focusing on fades. And so when I was bringing the shear work into it, it was like
Taking it to the next level.
it was foreign to them. They didn't know how to hold the shears, and nowadays that's like 85% of the haircuts is the comb over fade or the...
I was really intimidated by that, and I want to come back to that, but real quick, so when you think of your future, you don't think you're going to be in Bellevue, or do you plan on moving somewhere else? How do you view that right now?
I like to be different and go against the grain. So if nothing is in Bellevue and this is all we have in Bellevue, I'll make something in Bellevue. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
But I don't want to start small as far as a shop. I want to buy a building and have everything that I need within the building. Whether, you know, because I want, you know, the barbers, I want the hairstylists, I want the nail techs, I want all of that in my shop. Whether it's in open space or it's in different suites, I don't know. But when I get into a place, I want to buy it straight out and then build within the building. I don't want to start small and then relocate and then relocate and then relocate. You get what I'm saying?
No, I feel that 100%.
So I'd rather just buy the whole building, and if it's just me in there, then it's just me with like 50 rooms. You know what I'm saying? Until I build up.
Yeah.
So that's potentially what I want to do, and if Bellevue is a spot, then Bellevue is a spot.
Well, I definitely think cost-wise, at least up front for the property and all that, definitely is. But
Yeah.
I definitely think that it is, for me personally, because, you know, obviously coming from Kissimmee, Orlando, I feel like this is a great spot to build up, moving towards a bigger city, the bigger city it's going to be. Given the growth it's already had, we already know what happened down there and what's been happening in all the other bigger cities. So given what the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a massive explosion. So I'm kind of like prepping for that. At least that's my mentality. So I know I'm definitely going to hang around this area. So,
and I thought about the equestrian center.
Oh yeah,
But man, that's
too.
deep.
That's deep. My mother knows somebody who works there because she works in hospitality, and I think he's the GM or assistant GM, something. I don't know, really, I don't remember. But when they opened up, he had mentioned wanting to talk to me because he knew through her that I was a barber, and that he knew they were gonna have a barbershop in there. And upon first hearing that, I thought, man, that's gonna be crazy. But then I thought about what being in a barbershop in that type of place would be like. And I don't want a regular job. And I know that that's what that would have felt like.
Think so?
Yeah, especially when you think of the class of people, the way they would want the barbershop run, the way they would want the barbershop run, not the way you want to run a barbershop. And that's just, and then you got to also think about the demographic of people that you would be interacting with on a daily basis. And for me personally, although I'm cool with all people, that's just not what I envisioned, wasn't what I would want to do long term.
Okay.
Or at least not for now at least. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, and then on top of that, the barber industry is such a growing thing, and we have all these young people growing up and seeing, you know, what barbering is like, that I think it's another great thing to see the kind of level of barbers that we have here in Ocala now, the heavy hitters of Ocala that, you know, all of us doing networking and keeping up to date. I think that it's gonna, if anything, attract more young barbers to want to be barbers here because of us.
Right.
Because we're establishing a different level of the game here. Just like you were talking about when you were in barber school teaching, the way they looked up to you. It's like we could basically, you know, we have OGs in the area that have been here for a long time establishing their game, but I feel like we're carrying the torch now to a new level of that. And that in the young kids' minds then will then become those OGs. You
Right.
know? So how did you end up going to teach in school like that? Because you were at a local school, right? Private one?
Yeah, I was at fashion, actually. I went through Fashion Cuts Academy. Shout out to Adrian Jones. He helped out a lot. And he also, he was the one I talked to about actually working there. And I like I said before, I wanted to teach, I wanted to instill, I wanted to pour into people because I love this career. I love this art, I love this passion. And so because I love it so much, I want to be able to pour into the next generation or the next group of guys or girls that want to come in and do what I love. And I don't want them to come in and like lollygag, you know what I mean? Because I take this serious. So I felt like if anybody's gonna teach them the right way, it's gonna be me.
For sure.
So let me go ahead and do it. Let me step in and teach them the right way and show them what I know. And I got some good feedback from it, man. And then when I left, they were like, man, we miss you here. Like it ain't the same, blah, 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 whatever the case was. And now some of them are in shops now. And I still link up with them on social media and they say, man, thanks for everything that you've done. I've learned a lot, and this and that is exactly what you're saying about how they look up to us. And it feels good, man. It feels good. And, hopefully with the whole teaching thing, I can do it on a more prestigious level. But for now, I'm just, trying to grow my name still.
Yeah.
So
well, one step at a time. I feel like that's a solid
sure.
step just to even get your name. I mean, get your foot in the door in that, just to feel what it's like to be in that realm. Because I feel like that even, like I started teaching a kid who came in over the summer, JimmyFvdes. Shout out JimmyFvdes.
I heard about him.
And he's doing his thing out there, and he would come in, during the summer on days that he wasn't doing anything and didn't have to work. He would just hang out, learn, help me sweep up or whatever. And kind of like I came up, except, just kind of whenever he could. And just knowing that you're helping, we have YouTube on a level it's never been for these kids that want to learn, which is awesome, but it's not the same as being in a shop with someone and seeing them do it real time with the real clients and watching how they're operating in a real environment versus just learning or being in a school environment. It's like, no, this is a real professional barbershop. This is how we're doing it. And I feel like that gives them a much better perspective, and even just being able to see their growth after they implementing things you taught them, or at least being able to take in information and then use that however they can to change it or whatever and create their own version of that.
Right.
I think that would be awesome. And you were working there how many days a week teaching there?
I was working there like 2 days. Yeah, 2 days a week. It were long days too, man. But when it comes to running a school, man, you just gotta, advertising is big. You know what I mean? Because those kids are spending money and they want to learn. So the advertisement is key to bring people in, because if nobody comes in, they're not cutting. Because it's like with cosmetology school that I went to, we had mannequin heads, and we're doing long haircuts all the way up to short haircuts. They have long hair, and by the time we're done, they had pixie cuts. With mannequins in barber school, what are you gonna do? You're gonna practice fades, and then what? That's it. You know what I mean? So it was tough. It was tough to teach that, because it's like when I could teach them scissor work on a mannequin, but then when that's over, I'm not gonna teach scissor work all day. Right. You know what I mean? So.
What do you think was the hardest part of teaching there?
The hardest part is keeping their attention, because like I said, once we were done with the mannequin, like let's say an hour class, if that, it's like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? Do you feel like demos were a helpful tool? Because that was something I was always iffy about when I was in barber school, was when we were sitting down for demos. How did you feel about that? I felt like demos are good. Demos are good, but when it comes to teaching students, they have to engage in it, because I can't just do a demo and any questions and then nothing. You know what I mean? Because they just need to ask questions. Yeah. But when it comes to cutting hair, they can see, but a lot of the times it needs to be hands-on. For sure. You know what I mean? Because You're not really learning. Yeah, you can, because I could be teaching a demo, and then when somebody comes in, I'm reteaching them all over again as the customers in there. Like, what do you do here? Okay, well, I just finished teaching on this.
Plus,
So
it's just like watching a video. You know, you're seeing it be done, and you might take in some information.
Right.
But it's different when you're actually having to apply it. Like, there was one of the kids, I don't know if you know him or not, but DJ. Do you know DJ from school over there?
Yeah.
Casino Two Bread, I think.
Yeah.
He came to that event that I hosted for the back to school. And so him and Joey were the two students basically that were at the event. And I thought that was I wish that I would have had an opportunity like that, you know, coming up, where they were able to get a bunch of heads and then also be around a bunch of these amazing barbers to help kind of guide, to help them guide them through any tough situations. So they were, you know, if they needed help with something, they called us over and we walked them through it. You know, it was more like telling them what to do it until you feel like you're about to fail and mess this person up, then we'll step in.
Right.
You know, I feel like that's the best way to learn it. I think having a school would be a dope thing. Like, I think you mentioned that in your building, but I know there's got to be a bunch of like red tape and you know, things with the state and accreditations that'll just be like, oh, I don't know if that'd be worth it. That seems rough.
I always told them while they were in school, because if you don't get enough practice, then you go to 6 months, you go to a year, and you don't have enough practice, you're not going to be ready. So I always told them, all right, if you come to school, you know, on the weekends when you're not at school, go into a shop. You know what I'm saying?
Out there.
Go meet an owner. Go meet Alex. Go meet Jimmy. Go meet Mike Classic over here.
For sure,
you know what I mean? And ask, hey man, can I sit in here and watch? Because I'm in school right now and I want to learn. I'm not getting enough reps in school. And that's what one of the students, Jeff, he took advantage of that. Big white dude, he works at
Jeff Cut It, shout out.
Yeah,
That's his
Jeff
name, right?
Cut It.
On there?
Yeah, he works at High Class now, and he took my advice. When he came in, after I think a weekend, he came in on his day off and was working on a mannequin. He's like, yo, I see how serious it is now. I was like, I told you, man. You guys think I'm just saying it for my house? I'm like, nah, man, this is real. And if you don't go out there, if you have bad habits in school, you're gonna take them out there. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you ain't gonna eat. You know what I mean? So he seen how serious it was, and he took my advice. And if I ever have a school, man, that's what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have school, and I'm gonna have them go outside and learn, because, you know.
That's an awesome thing. I think that, I mean, when in my barber school, even just the fact that they get to cut people, like real public people, is awesome, because when I went through this college, you know, not college, I mean it was college, but Marion Technical, we had a period of time where we were supposed to be open to the public. Well, we were open to the public, but we weren't. It was rare, for me at least, in the amount of time that I was there, that people actually came in. And then when they did, it was more like just you bringing people that you know coming in. You know, it wasn't like how Fashion Cuts has it, where it actually is people coming in for haircuts.
Yeah.
That, I think, is just a dope experience. And I think that a lot of the kids in there, I'm just speculating here because I don't know, but I imagine they don't really know how lucky they are to have that opportunity to be working on real live heads in barber school right off rip. I mean, you know, granted that comes with its pros and cons, but that's a great opportunity, because most of the kids that I know, you know, you've made a cut 1 or 2 or 3 heads, and maybe those same ones over and over, and then you're going in live action, fed to the shark. So do you have any big plans for the rest of this year, or things that you plan on doing short term? I know you definitely want to do the shop and, you know, have your empire, your building, but what do you have planned short term? Short term,
and I still got I got my product out, a cruise. That was a big hit.
And that's what, go over that one more time. What products do you have for that line?
So La Cruz, I have a beard balm, I have a matte clay, which is kind of like a cream, and a clay. So those are the 3 main things that I use. I don't really use pomade as much, but I use those, and they've been doing well, man. I feel like a lot of it was support, which I'm totally cool with it. But I knew coming in, the first phase, or the first, you know, flow was gonna be all support. Oh man, you got your product, man, let me support you.
Right.
And so after that, now that I got to restock, it's like now now that all my supporters and everybody that knows me has it, okay, so now this is the real test. How am I gonna push it? How am I gonna advertise it? Because if I stop, then nobody's really gonna know. So I have that. I also, I'm gonna start investing in more with tools for my services, because I wanna implement more of a luxury service. And I'm asking my clientele, man, I'm asking them like, when you come into the shop, what do you want? Because I don't want you just to come in for a haircut, because I know a haircut makes you feel good, but I want you to be excited to come in and get a haircut, because man, I know Jimmy does this. I know Jimmy offers that. I know when he comes in, he got like a hot towel, or he has like cappuccino machine or something, So I asked them, and so I got some good feedback, and I'm gonna start implementing that stuff, because women, they get pampered, man. But the men, we work hard too. We deserve, we want to look good. We want to have the confidence. So that's what I'm trying to actually give to them. So I have some things in store by the end of the year. I'm gonna start doing like loyalty rewards programs and stuff like that, because they pay my bills. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. I think that would be dope. I tried to do something like that, which didn't really work. I mean, I wouldn't say it didn't work out, but I don't think it was the right call the way I went about it. What do you think? What do you envision for a loyalty program? Like, I know you don't have it necessarily planned out right now, but what are you thinking about? What are you tossing around about that?
Oh, right now I'm thinking about doing. I know everything's going digital, so I never thought about that. I was just thinking about getting cards and just like punching them or stamping them. On every 5th or 6th visit, give them like some kind of free service, a hot towel or a black mask, give them some like 20% off, something like that. Give them a t-shirt, Uppercuts as JimmyFvdes, or thank them in some kind of, some kind of way. So that's what I really want to do, is start appreciating, because I don't want to just come in, I cut their hair, all right, man, appreciate it, see you next time. You know what I'm saying?
More of an experience.
I want more of an experience, more of a relationship. I want them to be excited to come and then leave and want to tell somebody about me, or want to tell somebody, man, I feel good. Why do you feel good? Oh man, I just came from the barbershop and this and that. And then that's how, you keep the flow going. So customer service is a big thing. You know what I mean? Your haircuts ain't even got to be tight. But if your customer service is on point and you relate to the person and the vibe is where it needs to be, they're gonna come back to you. Because there's been plenty of barbers where I'll be like, man, the haircuts are not good, but this guy's booked up. You know what I mean? Because they're connecting with the person, they're relatable. You know what I mean?
What do you think is your biggest strength then, now that you've been doing this for 2 years?
My biggest strength?
Yeah, as a barber, or given your experience so far, what do you think is your biggest advantage right now, based on your clientele and the services that you've been providing in your relationships?
I think it's the way I care about the people. I feel like it's my servant kind of attitude. Not like a servant, like I'm a slave, but a service. You know what I'm saying? Because I can cut hair, but I put that more on the back burner. That's already a given. You know what I mean? Because I can be having a bad day and somebody comes in and I have to put on a front. You know what I mean? I could be going through this, I could be going through that, but when they come in, all those problems go out the window, and it's just, you're all about them. And so I take pride in that, and I feel like that's my biggest.
That you're able to turn that switch on?
Right.
Or off?
Because the 2 shops that I have worked at, I have not owned them, but people think that I am the owner, and that's a good feeling. But like, yo, you're the owner? I'm like, nah, man, this ain't my shop. Yeah. But it's because of the way I talk to the people and the way I make them feel, and so I take pride in that. And I feel like that's like a lot of my reviews, or be like, oh, he's a cool dude, he's down to earth personality, it's a good vibe in there, and I take pride in that. That, like I said, the cutting hair is already a given, it's already there.
They must not really know you then. No, I'm just playing. So the follow-up to that.
Yeah.
What do you think is your biggest obstacle right now? The thing that you're I don't want to say biggest weakness.
I feel like everybody got a weakness. So
yeah,
that's
I know,
fine.
but that's not really what the thing that I feel like, your biggest challenge. I don't like I don't like the way that sounds, you know.
The thing I have to work on more?
Yeah,
Or the most?
The thing you want to work on the most.
Let's see.
Yeah, what do you think is the thing that you want to work on the most in your game right now?
And I'm not taking a long time because I don't think I'm good at everything.
No judgment. This judgment-free zone.
But I feel like what I need to work on the most is probably my time management.
In terms of what?
Man, I'm a you know, being military, you know, members, you know, being on time is very important. And
You're a lady? You're a late barber?
no and yes.
I would
Sometimes
say the same thing.
no and yes, because there are times where I'll come in, plenty of time, get the shop ready and everything. Sometimes I'm pulling up and they're already there.
Yeah, that
Or
happens.
sometimes I'm pulling up and they're pulling up with me. And I'm opening the shop and they're holding the door open for me.
That wouldn't be like that.
Right, and I gotta turn the lights on. I don't want them to see me setting up. You get what I'm saying? So that, and also my haircuts. And even in hair school, when I was in cosmetology school, they give you like an hour to do a service. Doing cut, doing color, whatever the case is, they'll give you a time limit. And I would never meet that time limit. And it's the same thing with my haircuts now. With a fade or a fade and beard or whatever the case is, because I'm so OCD and I want it to be so perfect, which is not gonna be every time, but I want it to be so perfect that, hey man, I got you next, but I'm running a little late. I hate saying that because they book an appointment for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to be able to be like, okay, I got you in 5 minutes. You get what I'm saying?
Is that pretty cut and dry in your opinion? Like you just feel like you need to definitely cut that time down. You don't feel like there's any benefit to being that way? Like I say that because for me, I'm 100 on both of those points. I'm with you because both of those points apply to me. On one side, there's no excuse. I'm with you. We definitely need to be here before, be set up and ready to go, and it's a professionalism thing. Even though the excuse in me wants to be like, man, but there's no excuse. There's really no excuse.
There's plenty of excuses we make up in our heads.
Yeah, there's no excuse. For me, it's always like, it's usually my first, I live 5 minutes from the shop. So it's so easy for me to like really get down to
always see you pulling up with your clients.
Yeah?
Always.
That's funny. Yeah, because it's
Like
always.
always.
It's always the first one of the day because I'll be waiting until I have my tea. And then my wife will be making me a smoothie, and I'm like, all right, I could just finish this last cup of tea. I got time. And then next thing you know, you're 3 minutes late. And then they get here, and sometimes, you know, especially Sundays and Mondays, because people think the shops will close on Sundays and Mondays. Sometimes they'll think, is the shop closed? I'll be like, nah, man, I'm pulling up right now. I got it.
Dang.
And it happens, you know, it looks bad, but, you know, as soon as I get in the shop and I see them, it's all love. But like you said, there's no excuse for that. But that's besides my point here. When it comes to the OCDness, I want my cuts to be perfect too, and I always go, not always, I go over quite a bit sometimes, usually anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. 30 is long. I try not to do 30. Sometimes it happens, especially with a burly beard, that I'm trying to get a real clean fade on and shape it, and like you said, OCD, like you think you're done, you turn them real quick to take the cape off, and you see something, and you're like, hold on, you know, but as tough as sometimes it feels, I know that's why they come to us, is, you know, because we will take that minute and clean it up and fix. And if we see something, we're not gonna let them walk out the door if we see it. And even though that takes that extra time, and we have that appointment coming in who maybe knock back a few minutes, even though we feel that way, to them, I feel like it may be and I've heard it from them before, so it's not just a feeling, but it makes them feel better because they know that when they're in that chair, we're not gonna rush because somebody just walked in the door. Like, we're gonna take that extra minute. So as much as I feel that, and I still wanna get that time there, I don't really try to sweat myself too much for that because I know that that's a big value that I'm providing to them. So like, do you agree with that? How do you feel?
I just try not to be consistent.
Right, like every time they come in.
Like every time. Sometimes there'll be guys that come in like, man, I'm late, like he's late again. You know, I try, because it's like with showing up late. You know, they could be cool with you because you know you're gonna hook them up. But in our eyes, it's a professionalism thing.
For sure.
You know, you book an appointment, you at least want to at least 5 to 10 minutes over. Not, you don't want them waiting too long, because it's
it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So even though they won't complain, and they're like, don't worry about it.
In their head, they're kind of like, I wish this would have been ready.
You know?
It's like when you go to the doctor's office, you have an appointment and you're waiting for an hour.
Oh Lord,
you know,
they're the worst.
But yeah, that's way worse. But you know, in our case, I feel like we're a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Because like for, you know, I definitely go over on not all my services, but like, you know, I just added my new service, the Platinum we were talking about, where I do all the extra stuff. I had it slated for an hour and a half, and I realized at least twice I hit 2 hours, and I was like, 30 minutes is too much. Like if I'm going over 30 minutes consistently,
and you don't want to rush it either.
Exactly. So what I just went into the, you know, the app and bumped it up to 2 hours. This way, at least I know if I get done early, cool. But at least they know coming in to set that time, and it blocks out that schedule.
Yeah.
But even then, I know what you mean. You definitely want to get your services shorter, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
So what do you think you're going to do for the time management thing? Do you think that's something you're going to actively work on, or just be aware of and kind of sweep under the rug?
I think getting to the shop, that's nothing. It's just one of them things where you just don't do it. It's like you want to stay in bed a little longer, or you want to be, like you said, your wife, she makes you this, she makes you that. It's like, oh man, I got time. But you got to put into consideration that there may be a wreck, there may be all this, you know. And so getting to the shop is not a problem. It's just I'm always trying to find ways to get faster with my fades or get faster with my razor work, you know. But I also don't want to make them feel like I'm rushing, because I ask my clients, I'm like, when somebody's giving you a haircut, can you tell if it's coming out good or not? And they're like, yeah, I can tell if they're taking their time and if it's coming out.
I think they can tell if you're taking your time for you as a personal barber, but I'm not sure they can tell whether it's coming out good until it's done. Because, you know, like, do you do the same steps every single time?
No.
Because I change my steps all the time.
No.
Like the order of them, how I go about even on the same cut, same person, 1 week to the next, I might just do it completely differently. I'm doing the same cut, but I might do it differently. So I feel like their mind, they might be thinking one thing, but then by the time I'm done, they're like, oh yeah, it looks solid. Yeah, it's good, because I just did it differently. And I don't know if this will help you at all. It's just something that I've been working on for me, for the faster fades and all that too. But lately I've been trying to work on more so doing my rough fade first. Like, I know that they teach that in other places, and I've heard people say that, but I've always caught myself trying to keep a clean blend throughout the process. And lately I've been more so going through my rough draft.
I know what you're talking about.
And then coming back in to do those details later, because I realized if I do that rough draft and I do it at a good pace, I really do spend a lot less time detailing. Versus like doing either whether I'm doing a full side and then the next side or not, I'll do a rough blend first, and then it's mostly done. I don't know how you do it, but for me, I've been working on that lately.
I just seen that not too long ago. You know, S-Craft?
Yeah.
He does that.
He does the rough blend.
He does the rough blend. And it's like, I know you're a better barber than that.
Yeah.
But then he explains it like, this is just a rough draft, and I'm gonna come back and detail it, and it comes out fire every time.
Every time. He's crazy. Crazy good.
He is. He's one of my favorites. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes I'll do that, but sometimes I'll catch myself. Sometimes I'll catch myself just being OCD with one side of the head, and depending on the texture of the hair, you know, I'll either do it or I won't do it. You know.
So, given that that's your answer now after 2 years, what do you think was the hardest part or your biggest challenge coming into a shop, like a professional shop, full time for the first time, not part time cutting? You know, your first time, no other job, cutting hair in a barbershop. What do you think was your biggest challenge then? Or either challenge or the thing that surprised you the most about that experience?
Well, the fear of the unknown, because I wasn't really worried about my skill, even though I'm a lot better than when I started.
For sure.
But coming from like a regular job, getting a paycheck every week, going into a shop, and if I don't cut, I don't eat, I don't pay my bills, my kids don't eat, you know what I mean? And it's just like, nobody knows me. So how am I gonna get people in? How am I gonna get people in my chair? And that was the scariest part. You know what I mean? That was the scariest part, is because I didn't know how much money I was gonna be making. I'm making decent money over here, and I know what my finances are, but then I come into a shop where it's kind of like all commission kind of thing. If you don't cut, you don't make no money. That, and then paying booth rent on top of that. When you add it all together, $700 a month. I'm like, bro, I can't afford $700 a month. I was looking at different barbers, $600, $650. I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pay that and pay my own bills on top of that.
Yeah.
But then when I started getting into it and the money was coming in, I was like, oh, this ain't even nothing.
Not that bad.
Because when you add it up monthly, then it's like, dang, well, you can do like $150 a week. You don't even see that, especially if you manage your money correctly.
So how'd you get over that, or at what point did you start feeling better about that? How far down the line?
It wasn't that far.
A couple weeks.
Because I started off in Hair Junkies, and when I was there, we had an all-star team, and that shop is in like one of the best locations you can be in.
I know. I would say it's like, I would say it's everybody's favorite spot.
80% of the people was walk-ins, especially for a new barber coming in. It was perfect for me because that's how I kind of gained my clientele. So there's some people that knew that I cut hair, but a lot of them, hey man, we seen the sign outside. I was like, hey, how'd you find out about the shop or me or whatever? They're like, oh yeah, we seen the sign. You know, there's an open chair or we're open. So they would drive by, and there's no way that you can't see that.
For sure.
So like people said they were driving, like, you know what, I'm gonna get a haircut. They pull in, and there goes $20.
It's so crazy too, because I would never get a haircut that way. like that's not how I would go about getting a haircut, but that's how most people go to get their haircuts.
So that's once I started getting comfortable with that, then I was like, okay, well, this ain't that bad.
Did you run into any unexpected challenges coming into the profession?
No, not really.
It all just kind of flowed in place the way it was.
Because it's like one of them things where you already have the talent. You just need to be put in that situation and then learn the ways. And then once you get comfortable with what works, what doesn't work, everything just falls into place. And I feel like that's what happened. That's what happened with me.
And how do you market yourself now? How do you continue to build your clientele and progress your business?
A lot of it is social media. Even though I feel like a lot of my clients don't come from Instagram or they don't come from Facebook. A lot of the people that are on Instagram or Facebook, they already know me personally, or they're like social media friends. So when I say, hey, I put it on Instagram, hey, I'm gonna be out for this day or that day, it's like people are seeing it, like my cousin in New York. So you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's how do I get those kind of messages to my clientele? So I don't post stuff like that. But a lot of my work comes, or a lot of my customers or my flow comes from word of mouth. That's one of the biggest ones. And Booksy, because
Booksy's a good one,
Booksy, you know, you got your portfolio, and then if you use the boost on it,
I've never used that.
They promote for you. So if you search JimmyFvdes right now, I pop up. All my pictures pop up. You know what I'm saying? And when they type in, okay, barbers in Belleview, barbers in Ocala, Booksy, JimmyFvdes right there. A lot of the times they say, yeah, I'm Booksy recommender, or I'm the first barber because of the reviews. You know what I mean? And you're gonna pay a little extra, but it's worth it because they're bringing in the people for you.
You don't think you get? Do you ask, or do you know how many people you've gotten from Instagram? Like not like count, but like, do you not think you've gotten many people from Instagram? Because I feel like I get quite a few people from Instagram.
I feel like as of lately I have. There have been people that message, hey man, I see you on Instagram, but a lot of them come from
word of mouth.
Word of mouth, or they'll be on Booksy, or sometimes they don't even know about Booksy. They'll go on Google.
Yes.
And Booksy will throw it out there, hey, you know, Barbers, Booksy.com or whatever. And then they'll click on that, and then I pop up.
So do you feel like you're gonna do anything different here in the near future to amp up your level, or what? Because how far are you booked out now usually?
I'm usually booked the whole week. It's like starting the week, I'll have a few spots. but I'll be like, if you wanted to book with me this week, I'll have some spots open, but
that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Or sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, man, I only got 2 appointments today, but I'll end up at the end of the day, I'll be booked up.
Yeah, I noticed that happens sometimes too.
So I'm really not worried about it, but at the same time, I don't get cocky. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have people.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I needed a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like that more than not, actually. If I end up with a space of not having appointments, I'm usually cool with it. Like, it's like, all right, I could, or I'll use that time to do something I needed to do. But that's not to say we don't need to have that book time, way out in advance. That's the way we need to have it.
Right. So. I'm sure there's ways. I'm sure there's ways to market myself better. Just haven't found the ways. I haven't done the research, but that's what's working for me now.
So if you were talking to a local young upcoming barber, what piece of advice would you give him getting into their first shop, like for the first time, leaving any other job and going full time? What would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that it's how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? Because you're coming into a world like this where there's a lot of competition, and if you don't cut, you don't eat. If you don't speak, you don't eat. You know what I mean? You can't be scared. You have to be consistent, and you really have to want it. You know what I mean? Because when I first started in Hair Junkies, man, and nobody knew me, I'm out in that square passing out cards. And if nobody, hey, no, never mind. Oh, no, I don't want to talk to you. Whatever the case is, you're still out there. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't expect to be where we're at, in the first month. Because I was hitting up like Chico Boom. I was hitting up all these already established barbers. They're like barbershop owners. I'm like 3 months in, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not busy. I'm not this. I'm not that. What? You have any advice? And the main thing was stay consistent and just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, stay the path.
That's it. Because it's a process. Like everything, when you grow, it's a process, and this is one of the biggest processes when it comes to customer service or your skill in the chair. You know what I mean? So,
I agree with that.
So that's the biggest thing that I was telling these, guys and girls coming out of the school, is you have to stay consistent. And now this guy Jeff he's a walking example of what I was trying to show these guys. I don't know what else they're doing because I don't have a lot of their Instagram, but he's a prime example of what I was trying to teach them, because now he has cards, he's promoting his work. His work is, for the time that he's been cutting, he's come a long way.
He's good.
And when he sees this, Jeff, bro, you're doing your thing, because he came into the school not knowing how to cut
at all.
I had to shadow him the whole time. I'm like, but now I see his work and it's just like,
where'd that come from?
Who is this guy?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, Jeff cut it. You know what I mean? And I just seen that he's handing out cards. He's like, yeah, people are gonna know about me. It's the drive. You know what I mean? It's the motivation. You're taking pride in what you do, and then you gotta bring it out to the street. And I was like, man, he's doing that. And I haven't done that in a long time. And I ain't gonna lie, low key, I got a little, not intimidated, but I'm like, dang. He's gonna be out here, you know what I mean? Yeah, he kind of.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, I'm like, oh no, he ain't. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I gotta
get
back on my grind.
I get chills now when you talk about it too, because it's the same thing. We love it, and we're doing it, and we know we've done that.
Yeah.
But then, and not, I wouldn't even say it's a complacency thing per se, because we're not complacent. It's just we're trying to expand into different ways.
Yeah.
And we want to do that, but we also have to remember not to forget to keep doing the things that got us here.
Right, the fundamentals.
Keep doing the fundamentals and expand. Keep doing the like shuffle a deck of cards. You had a little bit of all of it at the same time, and it's good. It's good to see that, because then you see the younger guys coming up and doing it, and they'll keep you on your toes. Like, all right, let's go, let's keep it moving. So on that note, we have the heavy hitters of Ocala who've been getting together a little bit. What do you think you would like to see for us, all of us barbers here in town who are networking and want to network? What do you want to see within our group?
Well, first of all, I feel like it should be heavy hitters of Marion County, because we're not in Ocala.
I feel you, but I don't agree.
We should start a heavy hitters of Belleview. Nah, that sounds kind of cheesy.
The reason I only don't agree with that is because I feel like Marion County is Ocala. Like when I didn't grow up here. You grew up here, right? You grew up in Ocala?
Yeah.
So moving here, not to get too far off track, but now when I talk about anything in Ocala, I'm literally, in my head, I'm talking about all of the towns in this area. Yeah. It's just like when you come from out of here, Ocala's like the main zone.
Right.
Everything else.
Nobody knows about Belleview.
Yeah. It's like Kissimmee and Orlando, right? Like when I talk to people not from there, I just say Orlando.
Orlando, yeah.
But like if you're from there, you're talking about, you know what I mean? But yeah, but go ahead.
What I would like for us to do as a whole.
Yeah, like, you know, the ones who want to be involved in taking our culture and our profession to the next level within our community.
Okay.
What do you want to, what would you like to see happen within our group?
So I feel like what we lack is relationship, because when we met at Bank Street that one day, yeah, it was like 2 hours, and but it was educational. You know, even though I knew a few of them, a lot of them I didn't know.
I agree.
And I don't like, it's the same thing with having social media friends, and you know them for like 10 years, but you've never met them. Like that should never happen with the barbers. You get what I'm saying? We should have more of that. And I think that it would be good for growth. But if you don't want to grow and it's just more of like, oh, I'm busy, or I'm doing this, or I'm with my, of course you got to be with your family, but make time for growth within your career. You get what I'm saying? Because I can learn from you, you can learn from Bravo, he can learn from Manny, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? And the more we get together, the more ideas we can. Like if I like going to barber battles.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I haven't been to one yet. We need to.
And I like being involved with that kind of stuff because I get out of my comfort zone and I get to meet other barbers. You know, I get to see Frank the barber, I get to see Pacino's, I get to see Bordy Barber, I get to see all these guys because they're there. I got to battle against Bordy Barber. You know who he is?
I've heard of him.
He's from Miami. He's like one of the top guys.
I've heard of him.
And I took pride in that. Of course, I didn't say anything to him, or he had like an entourage around him, but I got to battle against him. And to me, that was cool.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And if I like to go to battles, I would like the barbers from my area to be with me. You get what I'm saying? And so
support each other.
Yeah, you could record the whole thing, make a vlog out of it, and to network, man.
I agree.
That's the biggest thing. Like going to the Orlando premiere. That's one of the biggest hair shows in Central Florida. Why wouldn't you want to go?
You're supposed to pay for me to go.
I gotta see how much it is.
No, I agree with you. I think
it's that good that I wouldn't mind paying for you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the first time that I went, I got so motivated because I realized how big it was. I thought it was just cutting hair. But when I went there, my eyes were open because this world it just opened up right in front of my eyes. It was amazing. And if you haven't been, you gotta go. And I'm not just saying to you, I'm saying it to anybody. Yeah. Because man, the things that you can learn, they got educational classes, they have everything. And then you meet the people that you look up to on social media because they're there. Yeah. You know, you get to link up with them, you get to vibe with them, and it's good. Everybody should go to stuff like that. Even the one that they had in Marion Oaks. These guys are coming from like Tampa. They're coming from down south, Fort Myers to Ocala. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And that shows hunger, that shows desire. And there was only 2 barbers from Ocala in there. And it's in Ocala. You know what I'm saying? So that is the biggest thing, is the community. When you go to Orlando, like the shop that Bravo works at, they go everywhere together. They go everywhere. They have everything. They're a team. They have t-shirts, they have this, they have that. And it makes people want to go there. It made me want to go there. I'm like, yo, I want to work at that shop, because you know that you're going to grow from that. For sure. Especially like with the owner, he's a go-getter. So when the owner's a go-getter, he's not going to let you fail. Right. You know, he's going to continue to push you and to make you grow. And then when you come in there, then you get the hang of it, and then you help somebody else grow. And that's what I'm all about, is the growth part. And I feel like that's what we lack in here. From that, I say that that's just what we need to do then, is create that for ourselves and host another event, you know, have things we may want to collab. Yeah, collaborations. If we're going to do ours soon. Yep. Stay tuned for that one, but we definitely need to have another event. Not let too much time pass in between them. Get another one going. You know,
have some things maybe we want to touch on for all of us to talk about, maybe talking points within ourselves. And I think definitely I feel you on the going to big barber battles for sure. But something that I've heard plenty of people talk about, which seems like something we could definitely do quite relatively easy, I would say, would be having our own Ocala barber battle. You know, within ourselves. I think that would be fun. I think that would just be an entertaining, fun thing for us to do, and then maybe get everybody even more, you know, build that bond that we have within ourselves even stronger, so that we can get to that point.
We just got to do it, man.
That's
because I think a lot of people have these ideas,
but they're not executing.
And they want such a big crowd that when they're thinking in their mind, yeah, I want it to look like this, I want it to look like that.
You gotta build
But
up.
if nobody's ever done it in Ocala,
You gotta build
you may just have the 2 barbers, the 2 models, and maybe the judges there.
Yeah,
Or maybe like the judges or the barbers and the models' girlfriends or wives there. And that's it.
And that's it. That's what.
And that's how you start. But we gotta do that first. If we have the ideas, we just gotta do it and then let people catch on. Like when I battled Adrian at the school, I was like, bro, we could do this
here
and raise money for whatever. It could start within the school, and then we can do it like at the equestrian center, or we could do it at the any warehouse or any club or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We could do that and raise money, and it gets to the point where we can have vendors, you know, and people coming from all over the place.
Well, I just got 2 cool ideas while you said that, but I agree 100%. That's the mentality I had doing the back to school event. I've never done that. I didn't know I've never been to one. I didn't know how to do it, but I knew that if I didn't just do it, regardless of how many people showed up, just like what you said, that was my mentality. And now I know for a fact next year is gonna happen again. I already have the location. We've already done it. Now it's just leveling up every time.
It's like the CT Barber Expo.
I haven't been to that.
That's the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
But Jay Mayer just put that on. I think he said he started in a club and it was small.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what, I don't know, 10 years later, it's the biggest in the world.
It's
and now you got the Barber Grammys.
Taking action.
It's like, you're gonna start small, man. You see all these other guys and it's like, that's what you want. But you don't see the process. You don't see the beginning stages of it.
Well, I'm glad we got the YouTube up, because this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be showing the stages of everything that we're about to build here, man. So I appreciate you. Man. I appreciate you coming to do the interview, man. Getting to know you, putting you out there.
Yes, sir.
You know, what do you want people to know about you, man, as a barber now, though? If you had everybody watching, if they skip to the end, what do you want them to know about you coming in the game and coming to go see you at Uppercuts?
Just know, man, that I got a servant heart, and I really do care about the people, even if, you know, having a customer service job, it ain't the easiest. But I ain't even trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be the richest. And like I said in one of my spoken words, man, I just want to touch the hearts and souls of the young people and of the people that sit in my chair, because I don't know, I'm pretty sure that, you know, there's a lot of people that sit in my chair, man, that they open up to you.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then they trust you. I know a lot of stuff about some of my clientele, and some of the things I can relate. And it kind of hurts my heart, man. And it's like, these people are like, some dudes be getting emotional.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I'm saying. It's not just about a haircut. It's about the relationship that you build with them. And that is one of the reasons why I like doing what I'm doing, is because they come in, they're going through life. A lot of people, they hide it inside, and then when they leave, they have that confidence. Even though they're going through whatever they're going through, they leave feeling and smelling good, you know? And that's why I wanna do better with my services, do better with my customer service. And as long as I feel like you have that servant type of service and heart, I think we'll make it just fine. Even if we don't ever make it to the Pacinos or to the Chico Booms or to the DL Master Barber. I don't know if you ever heard of him. That dude is bad.
Nah.
I don't know if we may never make it there, man. We may stay local forever. You see all these older dudes, man, they're like 90 years old still cutting hair. You know what I mean? That is successful right there.
It is.
You don't always have to make it top dog in social media. You don't have to. A-Rod, all these dudes, Los Cut It. You don't have to be at that level. That's their story. Of course, they're inspirational and they're an example of what you could be. But if that's your main goal to get there, you're gonna have a rocky road.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta get there through the heart and through the desire, man, of the craft and the art of cutting hair, man.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I have no doubt we're gonna be big. I just don't know how yet.
Don't know
So
how,
that's
man.
all that matters.
Just
That's all
gotta
that
keep
matters. But thank you, man. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Until the next time, and we got to do our collaboration.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be
Stay
our
tuned
next
for that,
our next
man.
big
It's gonna
one.
be bad.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.